Let's talk about your definition of good ideas versus bad ideas. I thought this was a nice part of the book.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, because this is a central idea. The idea is that bad ideas are like viruses. And so you have to have some kind of a definition of what a bad idea is. So how do you define that?
Yeah, that is a foundational question for my project. So you're absolutely right to ask it. I think what I want to say here, well, there's a couple of things. Number one is we need to let go of the idea that the goodness or badness of an idea is purely in the eyes of the beholder. That so there's a very seductive view out there that says, who's to say which ideas are good and which ideas are bad? And my answer to that is we are to say. In fact, we have to take responsibility for sorting the ideas that are genuinely beneficial from the ideas that are genuinely harmful, the ideas that are genuinely true from the ideas that only appear to be true. If we fob off the responsibility for sifting good ideas and bad ideas apart, we end up passing on confused and confusing belief systems to our children and our grandchildren. And we need to stop passing the buck down the generations and realize that it's up to us to figure out which ideas are good and which ideas are bad. And I think the ways we have of doing that, there's no secret to this. We all understand that truth is a good quality in an idea and falsehood is a bad quality. We all understand that being well evidenced is a good quality and being poorly evidenced is a bad quality. We all understand that if an idea inspires and helps people and makes them behave in pro-social or cooperative ways, that tends to be a good thing. And that when ideas make us hateful and angry, say the ideas of white supremacist ideology, that those are very bad ideas that are best removed from our belief systems. So the way to make progress on this issue is to realize that there are perfectly unproblematic examples that show us that ideas are objectively beneficial or harmful, objectively true or false, and then fight back the urge to punt on the harder questions. So the question of exactly what form America's immigration policy should take, that's a really hard question. And it's really hard to sort out exactly what the best immigration policy is. And I don't know. I'd have to spend decades educating myself in order to figure out the difference between good ideas and bad ideas there. But there's no reason why we should just give up in advance. We have to have those hard conversations. We have to drill down into those issues and sort out the good and the bad qualities of these ideas, and apply our best idea testing techniques so that the good ones rise to the top and the bad ones fade away.
Yeah, so that's another example where it's a sentiment that I so agree with and struggle to actually see how it happens in real life with tough questions, where there are several dimensions of well-being being weighed against each other, and it's not obvious what the conversion rate is. A policy like stop and frisk, which no doubt recovered lots of guns off the street, and you can make an argument it saved X number of lives. Or as a thought experiment, and you could posit that this is true. And then on the other side of the ledger line, just created thousands and thousands of young people that hated the police, were mistreated by the police, had just rude experiences with the police, and the psychology of feeling falsely accused.
Right.
And, I think most people would admit that lives saved. I think most philosophers by this time would admit that lives saved is not the only metric, even to a consequentialist. that should matter. But it's in practice, it's very difficult to see how even a community of very smart, informed people could weigh the costs and benefits in a way that was truly scientific.
Right. So you're quite right that trade-offs can become really difficult. When we're talking about issues in politics, law, ethics, and religion, these are the issues where the costs and benefits of our beliefs become really hard to trace and very complex. But that doesn't mean we should throw up our hands and just give up, right? It means we have to redouble our efforts and come at the problem with the best tools we have. I do think that a variation on a scientific mode of thinking is the right way to sort through these issues. And philosophers for a long time have said, just as we can use the best methods of sorting out truth from falsehood when it comes to factual domains, we also have some powerful tools for separating out better and worse ideas in the moral and political domain. So if you engage in that kind of idea testing, say ethical inquiry with others who have different points of view, you start to get a much better, over time, you develop a more and more robust sense of which positions are unstable and indefensible and which positions really merit a second look. Right. So in the same way that a chess grandmaster can get a feel for which moves are worth thinking about, somebody who practices the art of having difficult conversations can develop a much better sense of which positions are worth taking seriously and which ones aren't.
Right.
And those difficult conversations get easier the more you practice them.
Right. And it's probably also true that some people just have a baseline better set of intuitions to begin with about these things than others. Like the inclination to be good at chess. It's not that, everyone starts as a beginner, but Magnus Carlsen clearly had the ingredients to be much better than most people when he started, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that people vary in their knack or ability to do this kind of idea testing. Not everybody is fated to be equally good at it. I hate to write off anybody because I think we can all grow along this key dimension and become better versions of ourselves. We don't have to compete with Magnus Carlsen at chess to enjoy chess or even to become a good chess player. And you don't have to compete with Immanuel Kant to become wiser about ethics. All you have to do is become a little bit wiser than you were yesterday.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think each of us takes that humble approach to getting just a little bit better at thinking these things through every day. We can become so much. We can transform political discourse in this country from utterly dysfunctional to highly illuminating and beneficial if we just take the right attitude and stick with it and not lose our patience.